With the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out in about a month from now, I started looking at some of the games that are going to be launching alongside with it, and so I started making my own little wish list of games I want to get and add to my addiction. So far, I have Kirby Air Riders, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Mario Kart World. But besides that, that's about all I have so far. So I said, you know what games I would really like to see on the Switch 2? And well, here are 5 games I want to see on the Nintendo Switch. And no, we are not going to be throwing in a new Super Smash Bros. Game because that's just the obvious. Coming in at number 5, I have a new F-Zero game. The reason this one came into mind is because back in the GameCube, we had Kirby Air Ride, Mario Kart, and we had F-Zero GX as Nintendo's main racing franchises. And that was the last time we ever saw all 3 franchises on the same console. F-Zero and Kirby Air Ride have not been seen ever since the GameCube days. Until now. Here we are years down the line and we are finally getting a new Kirby Air Ride game. And well, if that one has a shot to come back to life, then why can't F-Zero, you know? And while Kirby has received some other games throughout the past years outside of racing, this is the last time we actually saw him cross a finish line. Whereas F-Zero, on the other hand, I mean, we got F-Zero 99 on the Switch, however, it's not necessarily a new game packed with actual content or a story mode like F-Zero GX did on the GameCube. Now yes, F-Zero GX is coming to the Switch Online for the GameCube side of things, exclusively to Nintendo Switch, but I want to own my games physically, not none of that digital crap, you know? Coming in at number 4, we have Pokemon Gen 2 remakes. I definitely think that this could be possible since the last time that we saw these was back on the DS with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And those are now one of the most sought after games. However, the prices have skyrocketed, making it very, very difficult for a lot of people to even get a chance to experience these games. For one, you have to either own a DS or a 3DS, and then on top of that, you have to somehow cough up $200 minimum. Unless you get super lucky and find a copy under market value. And clearly, since the games got released back in March of 2010 here in North America, it has been 15 years since we last saw anything Gen 2 related. And in 15 years, you know damn well there's been a lot of people that either lost their copies, sold their copies, and don't want to pay the $200 price tag, or they are a new fan to the franchise since Pokemon is the biggest franchise in the world with new fans coming in every single day. Whether it be from the show or the TCG, everybody deserves to play these classic games. And it would just make it a lot easier for everyone to be able to play on new hardware. Coming in at number 3, we have Super Mario Galaxy 3. The last time we had a new Galaxy game was on the Nintendo Wii years ago with Super Mario Galaxy 2. We have not seen anything new ever since, and with the motion controls they were able to add a bunch of cool things, as well as Mario Galaxy was just something special. I mean, it was literally the first time that a Mario game would take us to outer space, and there was something special about instead of going from world to world, they would actually have us go from a planet to another planet and explore around, with everything just being themed to that specific planet. And everything about it just seems, you know, special. The bosses, the music, you can't forget about the music. Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 had some of the best music in the whole series. Not to mention, I think it's the last time we saw Rosalina other than in Mario Kart or any other spin-off games, but she hasn't really been in any other official main title games. The first Mario Galaxy was brought over to the Switch via the Mario 3D All-Stars game that was released for a limited time alongside with Mario Sunshine and Super Mario 64. So although it's a little hard to get now because it's not in stores, it's still not impossible to get. And a lot of people have a Nintendo Switch. Yes, it's also playable on the Wii. However, a lot of people either got rid of their Wii or their Wii no longer works. So the Switch would be the best option to play this game. And since the first one is already available, they could easily just make a remake or a simple port of Mario Galaxy 2 in the meantime while they work on Mario Galaxy 3, just so that we can have all 3 games playable on the same system, especially since the Switch 2 is backwards compatible with the Switch 1 games. Coming in at number 2, we have Kid Icarus Uprising. For those of you guys that haven't played this game was created by Masahiro Sakurai, the same creator that made the Kirby games and the Super Smash Bros. Games. And the thing that both of those games have in common is that they're really good games, so this guy definitely knows what he's doing. Kid Icarus Uprising is one of the other masterpieces that just does not get the same love that it deserves. One of the main reasons is, for one, it came out on the 3DS, which did okay. It wasn't the best-selling system like the original Nintendo DS was, and it sure wasn't no Switch. I mean, the game sold a little over 1.2 million copies worldwide, but there's a couple of reasons why it didn't do so well. One of them is that it came out early in the Nintendo 3DS's life, which means the 3DS itself was barely starting to set itself up, and the launch that the 3DS had was just ridiculous. The price was later cut, resulting in a 3DS Ambassador program, which was basically given to the people that ended up buying a 3DS at full price. compared to the new reduced price shortly after the release. On top of that, the game blends several genres together, such as rail shooters, third-person action, and arena-style combat. That made it tricky to market or explain to casual buyers. And not to mention the controls. Originally, the game was supposed to be made for the Nintendo Wii. However, after finding out about the 3DS, Sakurai wanted to make it for the 3DS instead, just to showcase the 3D capabilities. But since they did choose to make it on the 3DS, then the way you play the game is you aim with a touchscreen, you use the circle pad to move around, and you press the L button to shoot. And not gonna lie, it's a really cool game. However, the system is just not made for that. Like, after 10 minutes, your hand starts to hurt. Yes, the game came with a stand to help you support the 3DS's weight. However, although it helped, it still gets your hand cramped up after a while, but the gameplay is fun. And Pit actually talks throughout the whole game, and it's actually pretty funny. But this game definitely deserves a remake on the Nintendo Switch too, so that instead of having to aim with a touchscreen, you can either use a second stick, or if they want to use the whole new mouse gimmick. Regardless, I feel like it would still be a little bit more comfortable than holding your 3DS with one hand and applying weight with the other. And coming in at number 1, we have Earthbound. The first and last time that North America ever received a Earthbound game was literally on the Super Nintendo. Over in Japan, on the other hand, they received Mother, Mother 2, and Mother 3, into which Mother 2 is basically Earthbound over here in North America. And yes, there was originally supposed to be another Earthbound game coming to the Nintendo 64, however, that ended up getting cancelled and it never got released.
Oh my god, are you crying?
No, it's just raining.
And if you guys have never played, Earthbound is literally one of the best RPG games ever, and it's literally my favorite RPG of all time. At first, I was a little bit meh about it, but boy am I glad that I gave it a chance. Right away, the game was very addicting, and I was able to play the whole thing in about a week, and it was that good. However, copies of this literally go for the same price as a little Honda. Shit, I mean, you basically have to choose 1 or 2 months of rent or this game in order to even have this in a complete in-box condition. The choice is yours, and I know people are not going to pick this game most of the time, but I definitely want it. I luckily got a chance to play this game. However, I don't have it, unfortunately. But Johnny, if you don't have it, then how did you play the game? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got my ways. But regardless, everything about this game is literally top tier. The game was so good, I literally had to go out of the way to buy the plushies from Japan. And I also got Ness in the amiibo form, and I also went out of my way to find a player's guide from the original game. No game, unfortunately, but this copy right here does still have the scratch and sniff cards, which is amazing. And surprisingly, after 30 years, the cards still work. Like, I literally scratched this card right here, and it still smells like bananas. It's fucking crazy, bro. But if you ever get the chance to play this game, I definitely recommend it. Now, if they don't want to give us a completely new Earthbound, then at least give us an official English translation of Mother 3. There is a way to play it with a fan translation on Game Boy. However, it's not officially on any Nintendo hardware. And then Nintendo wants to go ahead and rub it in our face by releasing Mother 3 on the Game Boy Advance over in Japan for the Switch Online. A nice way to throw salt in the wound, you know? But overall, I will keep fighting until the day that we receive a new Earthbound game on official Nintendo hardware, or we at least get an official translation of Mother 3, or a remake of Earthbound. You know what? Fuck it. I don't even want a remake. I literally just want the same exact style on the Switch. You know what I mean? Or the Switch 2. I don't care. Either or, I want something. Maybe a collection containing Mother 1, 2, and 3? Fuck, who knows? But regardless, I'm tired of Nintendo neglecting Earthbound, especially for it being the masterpiece that it is. But anyways, that concludes my list of games I wish came to the Nintendo Switch 2. What are some games you want to see on the Nintendo Switch? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to like and subscribe, and yeah, peace.